I honestly think it's going to be one of the easiest matches I've ever had. I think that I'm going to go in there and I'm going to walk through them and I'm going to make it look easy. And people are going to sit there and everybody always has an excuse and they're wondering why, or there has to be this reason why I won this fight or why I won that fight or this or that. But once I had the belt, none of that ever matters, right?
When has Belal ever did that to nobody? You know, like, come on, bro. Like, he's just talking, innit? I'll let him talk and let him make his little memes and his little tweets. But come on, everyone knows, like, he ain't on my level. And that's just the facts of it. You know, he has improved, so have I. But there's levels to the game, and I truly believe that I am levels above him. And come July, I'll show that.
When you have these long layoffs like that, then you get in there, it's, oh, is this gonna work? Is this not gonna work? Your timing's a little bit off. You're a little gun shy sometimes. And especially if you're a champion, when you have this long layoff, that mountain of defending this belt and making sure that I'm stay at this level to get that check every time starts to get heavier and heavier and heavier. And so I don't like this layoff for these guys, but it's a fight that I've been expecting. I think it's a good fight stylistically. We saw them fight the first time and it was going back and forth.
But you watch Belal Muhammad, and this guy has not lost for a really long time. He's unbeaten in so many fights, and the only fight that there was an issue with is the no contest with the champion Leon Edwards. Now, he's been wanting this fight. Belal Muhammad today is better equipped to fight Leon Edwards than he was the first time.
This was like literally the biggest mistake of his life. And even dragging this fight out as long as possible because I'm getting better every single day. I'm not a guy that stays out of the gym. We're growing. And now you got a guy that's been watching you for a full year. Even when I trained for the backup role, I'll show you text messages where I send my boys, like, could we do film study? I'm like, I'm only breaking down film on Leon. I don't really care about Kobe. Kobe's an easy fight. So the whole time we broke down film on Leon and we took that as a full camp. So now I'm having back-to-back camps all on you. And I'm growing my own skills to your weaknesses. So the worst thing you could have did is give me more time. The worst thing you could have did is give me extra time. You should have took me back then. Now, you should have took me 5 months ago. You should have took me 3 months ago. Every single day that you're letting this drag out, I've gotten better and better and better. And July 27th, I'm gonna be the best form that I've ever been. And that's gonna be your worst nightmare.
If he can force Leon Edwards to keep up with him and to keep his volume up, and that's going to be the problem because Edwards is very efficient in his decision making and how he throws and when he throws. But if Belal can push him past that point and break him, that's when it starts to get interesting, and that's his shot to take that belt.
Belal Muhammad has been campaigning for this fight for a long time, and rightly so. Listen, Belal Muhammad is just one of those guys. He's unrelenting. He comes forward. He's got that crazy pressure, excellent wrestling. The striking's getting better all the time. We saw that against Sean Brady when he knocked him out in round 2 back in Abu Dhabi. And the man is riding a 10-fight win streak over some tremendous opponents. Gilbert Burns, Sean Brady, Vicente Luque, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Damian Maia.
I've been an underdog in these last 5 fights. I've been where you've had, the best of the best telling you, the analysts telling you, oh, he's going to get knocked out by him. He's going to get tapped out by him. He's going to do this by him. He doesn't have good enough wrestling to do this, or he doesn't have good enough striking to do this. Watch what I do to Leon. Watch what I go out there and do in front of his people, in front of his hometown, in front of all of those fans out there that are going to be booing. I'm going to go to enemy territory and I'm going to freaking smash him. Then I'm going to look at his coach. I'm going to look at his brother. I'm going to smile. And I'm going to wait for them to say anything. I'm going to wait for their excuses. And it's going to be one of the best trips of my life.
I do think, and that's a very good point he made for himself. But I think that he's gotten a lot better since their first encounter, especially his striking. I believe his striking game has gotten better defensively as well. I feel like he's gotten a better grip of the spacing. And I feel like I saw that against Gilbert Burns, was that his spacing was really, really good. Yeah. And the way he was able to control that, which in end let him control the striking pacing of the fight. Yes, Gilbert had an injury during that fight, but still, I think I saw enough that of Gilbert to honestly, I think this fight is a 50. I think every fight's 50-50, but I think this fight's much closer the second time around than it was the first.
Well, I think that's what's interesting, Dean, is they have fought before. It wasn't going Belal's weight. He was having a really tough time up until the no contest. But both of them have grown a lot. They've both gotten better, and I'm excited to see who's grown more. I think that Leon Edwards has really shown himself to be able to fight a bunch of different types of styles, a bunch of different types of guys. Belal's different. He's got a different type of pressure, a pace. I think he's faster. He gets credit for. I'm excited for that fight.
So he did what he did, and fair play to him. You know, I can't take away his wins and who's beat to get to the title. But I feel like all the guys that's beat is not me, and that's the difference, you know.
Belal is his level is definitely up there now, where he can switch stances, he can fight out of both stance, he mixes it up, and he knows how to control his pace. That's the biggest thing. You saw it in the Burns fight. He knows how to control his pace. To where Belal will switch stance, throw the lazy left kick that still will move you and it still will land, and to where he's not the fastest, but he can get those strikes there. To where I think this is a very intriguing fight, but Leon just being the champion and being confident in being the champion, I think he's gonna be sharp.
If you look at Belal Muhammad's last fight, what was it, Sean Brady, if I'm not mistaken, I thought that was the best he's ever looked. Aggressive, coming forward, using his striking, putting combinations together. And I thought he looked like a completely revamped fighter. I don't know what it was that he went to Dagestan, and a lot of things changed with his mindset, his perspective, his approach. I thought he did a lot of great things in that fight. And to take out Sean Brady, and people were trying to say Sean Brady was overrated. Sean Brady goes out and smokes Kelvin Gastelum respectfully. So when you look at things like that, obviously you can't do MMA math, but I think Belal's got a shot here. He can grind out opponents. We've seen that in the past.
Just because if you look at the matchups I've had to fight, right? I've had to fight a bunch of different styles. I fought a better striker than him in Wonderboy, a better grappler than him in Maya and Burns. And then I had to beat a guy that knocked me out in Luque. So like, I had to make a bunch of switches in camps. And that's where you learn the most, in your camps and through these fights. He fought Nate Diaz after me. He fought Usman the first time where he was getting killed. And then the Kobe fight, you really can't take nothing from it because Kobe, he sucked that whole fight. So I don't really think that anything changed for him except for probably mentality, right? Now he thinks he's a champion and he thinks he's doing all the right things.
I think it's going to be a very hard fight for Leon Edwards, especially Leon Edwards is not active, don't have the activity as a champion. And I'm looking forward for this fight. I hope it gets done for July. We see that pay-per-view, but yeah, I got all the respect to Belal Muhammad, just making that clear.
I always believed that Dana was going to do right by Belal because his candidacy was impossible to ignore. Even Jack Della Maddalena and Shavkat Rakhmonov would acknowledge Belal publicly, right? And those were the guys who were right on the cusp of a title fight. So thrilled for him, thrilled he's getting the opportunity. Really tough matchup in Leon Edwards, and getting it in the middle of the night in Manchester obviously makes it, I think, even more difficult. But I think if anybody mentally and emotionally can deal with all of that, it is Belal Muhammad.
The way he talks to me, it's like he was winning the first fight, and then the eye poke happened. That's the way he talks. You know what I mean? So it's confusing to me. It's deluded. Even the other day, he came out and did a mad video that I'm gonna take him down, look at his coaches, let him back up, then I'm gonna choke him out a little bit. I was like, what the hell's going on? It's the delusion is unbelievable.
There's nothing else now. Now I know I'm gonna see you July 27th. I'm gonna walk through you, and after that, then you can make up all your stupid narratives. Then after that, you can come up with all your stupid excuses. But this whole lead up, his coaches were calling for Gilbert Burns. His coaches were calling for everybody else. His brother was asking for all these random things. But in the end, I think the UFC, Dana, and all of them, they gave me their word. They told me it was gonna be next, and I'm next. So all those other stories, they don't really matter to me.
Belal, let me make this as simple as I can for you. You are fighting right now at the best you've ever. You're at the top level of the sport. Man, if you want to be the heel, be the heel. Who cares? Go out and make people hate you, because it's real simple. Those people that hate you will pay money to watch you get beat.
Yeah.
And when you don't give them what they want, they're just going to come back the next time to try again.